Trouble in Greensboro. That is the title of the report done by the United States Advisory Committee to the United States Commission on Civil Rights in the year following the 1969 uprising on the campus of North Carolina A&T that left student Willie Grimes dead.
Included in the report is this letter to the committee from a major general with the North Carolina National Guard. It says, to the Guard's credit, there have been no injuries or deaths of those involved in the confrontation with the Guard in the 11 times it has been called out for civil disturbance missions since World War II.
And tonight, as was the case then, there's still no answer as to who killed Grimes. Fox 8's Michael Hennessy joins us here in the studio tonight. Michael, many of the people who could have that answer, or at least looked for it, are long gone.
Neil, Katie, we've had local and state agencies looking to see if they can find Willie Grimes' autopsy report, which his family said was done. Nobody can find it, but his brother says it holds a key piece of information.
If the sit-in movement in 1960 did not ingrain civil rights and protests into our history, 69 sure did.
Before the sun came up on May 23, 1969, National Guardsmen entered North Carolina A&T's dormitories as students inside were still under the assumption they were to close that night.
I don't think they really ever found that many weapons in Scott or Cooper Hall.
After the sweep, the university reported about $57,000 in damages to the buildings, what would be nearly $489,000 today, inflicted by law enforcement, not students.
Over 65% of the doors in the dormitories were reported damaged by being smashed or blasted with shotguns.
Wow. Wow, I had never read it before. If that's true, that's shocking.
It was later found, despite the use of force, only 2 operable weapons were found.
Vietnam was going on. And the guys in ROTC were allowed then to take their weapons to the rooms and clean them and different things of that nation.
And when the Guard vacated the campus, what was left behind remains.
Its reply indicated there had been no unnecessary use of force, which a lot of people disagree with that.
Scott Hall was a building that housed 1,000 beds.
35 years after the uprising ended, the dorm where Willie Grimes slept as a freshman.
Scott Hall was demolished in about 3 or 4 days. Bricks, it was a brick dormitory.
Went from damaged to demolished.
It was time for it to go because it held too many negative images, too many negative memories.
That's the graduation.
4 years after that, 2008, Grimes' family was presented with the degree he never got the chance to earn.
They recognized him, and that's one of the good things, to be recognized as somebody who gave it all. And he gave it all every day. He gave it all every day. There's a plot on the campus, on the main part of the campus by the old Dudley building that says the cause. And you know, I look at that and I say, why did he die? Did he die in vain?
And pieces of Scott Hall still stand as a reminder of the center of everything. A plaque reading, "The bullet holes still lodged in the walls are a piercing reminder of those turbulent times."
It changed my life. I never been the same, but that's in a good way.
This is a yearbook from '66. I know there were unmarked police cars in the area, and I believe that probably he was shot by police.
In the days and months after Willie's death,
I really don't think they ever tried to solve it. The first thing they denied was we didn't have weapons of that size that would kill someone.
law enforcement maintained he was killed by a small caliber bullet to the back of the head.
The police chief said, well, he was only shot one time. Well, there was an autopsy done, and I know for a fact that he was shot 3 times.
But I do believe that things happen in 50 to 55 to 60-year increments.
The cause.
Times change, and people change, but people also stay the same.
The report, written in the wake of the uprising, called for the city to study the status of black citizens in the community. For community leaders to state violence will not be tolerated in the city.
I'm not sure our children and grandchildren are better off than we were, which is bad.
For religious leaders to take a leading role in reconciliation between whites and blacks.
And I see people changing, and I see friendships developing, and I see conversations happen. I see comfort levels. I see all this happening in 2024. And in 1969, it didn't happen.
A 55-year increment. A story.
Everything happens for a reason. God makes no mistakes.
With no ending.
It's just that some hurt more than others.